Good morning, I'm Lou Adzima. Welcome to our garden. We've changed some things around the garden, and one of the things was we had this rail run the whole way across the opening here, and it was very difficult to get in and work on this area. So what we decided to do is to put a gate here, put this post in, put a gate in, and it gives us a little bit easier access to it. So today that's what we're going to do, is build the gate. Let's go out to the shop and get started. I've made a full-size drawing of the gate, and it's 19 3/4 inches wide and 42 3/4 inches high to the horizontal cross member here. The additional part will be up above the post. I've cut the pieces out for the top that's going to form the arch, and they're going to go together, and I'll be able to cut the semicircle once they're glued up. So I'll domino these corners together and then cut this out with a template that I've already made. And put the style on. And these will also be dominoed. I don't have the rails cut yet, so they'll be dominoed here and at the bottom. So the next thing is to get the machine out and domino these so that I can glue them up. To set the depth for the dominoes, I ran some tests, and this is what I came up with, was 15 and 30 millimeters from the top surface. So I'm going to cut all those dominoes now. So I've got all my parts set up, and I've got them marked as the center line to cut the dominoes. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to cut the 15 millimeter depth first, and then I'll come around again and cut the 30 millimeter depth. So now I'll change the depth to 30 millimeters and cut the second joints. So now I can glue these up and be the first step in our project. Got everything ready for the glue up. I'm going to be using Titebond 3, which is waterproof. I don't know really the difference between the 2 and the 3. The 2 says that it's water resistant, 3 is supposed to be waterproof. So since the gate's going to be outside, I'm going to be using the waterproof glue. In order to clamp these together, I cut an extra domino hole in the top of this, which will be cut off so it's in the waist area. And I've made this block. And I'm not going to even glue that in there. I'm just going to set it in there because it'll give me a way to pull this together. So that's drawn these joints up nice and tight, and we'll wait for the glue to dry, and then we'll start cutting the arc out. I'll also cut the rails while I'm waiting for this to dry. And I'll domino those and get them ready to glue up. I've got the frame laid up and ready to start dominoing it, and I've shortened it from 42 3/4 to 41, and I reduced the size of these rails by 1/2 inch. After I cut them full size and put them in there, I thought they'd look a little bit better and a little bit lighter, so I reduced them to 4 inches wide, and we're going to put 8 by 8 80 dominoes, 2 in each corner. So get the machine back out and get started on that. I've cut all the dominoes for the door, got them temporarily inserted, they're dry, and I'm going to cut a groove to put the inner panel in, and I'll take it apart and finish up the groove, and then make the panels, and then I'll glue it all together. Well, that was a pretty messy operation, but I had to bit down so far I couldn't attach any of the dust collection to it. So the groove's cut, take it apart, square up the corners, and start working on the panels. I have to glue up the panels. Also, I have to do a little chisel work in the corners here, that the bit doesn't cut square into the corners. center panels, and I'm going to I've jointed them, and I'm going to put some dominoes in to keep them, help align them and help keep them together, and then I'll cut and shape this to the exact size later. I'm going to use a 5 by 30 millimeter domino. I'm going to put 4 of them across here, so that should not only align the panel, but it's going to keep it from coming apart. Ready to go. Take it apart, put some glue on it, and we'll clamp this up, and then I'll do the top piece. I have a shorter piece cut. I'm going to cut this in half and probably put 2 joints in, or 2 dominoes in it, and it'll make the top piece for the arch. I guess I should tell you, in case any of you experts caught on to this, that I was cutting a 5 millimeter domino with the XL machine. I ordered the Seneca adapter. This is the adapter here, which allows you to use the 500 bits on the XL machine. It's really come out handy. I love this machine. I've set the gate frame up on a piece of 1/4 inch hardboard, and I'm laid out the pattern for the arch. And what I'm going to do is cut this out with a router, and then I'll be able to use this template to actually cut the redwood arch out. I'm going to rough cut the arch out on the bandsaw, then I'll apply the guide and route it to its final shape. Well, I've mounted the guide to the arch. I've set the router bit to the correct depth, and with this following bearing, it's going to follow the pattern and shape the arch for me. Now I'll lower the bit slightly and finish up following around the outside. The gates had a chance to sit up all night, dry the glue, so now it's time to take off the clamps and hang this in the garden. One thing I have left to do is we've already decided to make a glass insert for the top of this. So I have to make a pattern for my wife to cut out a piece of stained glass and also make a little retainer strip so that when we put it in I can tack it in and it'll hold the... Also the other thing is mount the hardware. Got to put some hardware on it to hang it. I've got the hinges installed. We now have access to our little garden area here. All we have to do is go get some more plants and plant it up. It'll be looking good. Deanna's working on a piece of glass to fill in this, and we'll also need to get a latch to put on it some kind. Have to find an interesting latch. Okay, Deanna's cut the glass for the gate, so all I have to do now is install it. So now we're really ready to go. How's that look? Thanks for watching.